Hey everyone, before we get started with today's show, I'd like to give a good shout out to Lilymariee, who won our Week 7 Pick'em contest on Sleeper. As you've heard many weeks now, we are still going week to week, so you are able to join at any point. Regular season, out of reach, obviously, but week to week we will give shout outs to whoever has the most wins, so feel free to sign up. No financial requirement there, so go ahead and join us. It's a good time. Also, the NBA is back, which means I'm watching a lot of Wizards basketball this year. Literally all of it. Pray for your boy. I'll also be writing a weekly article on our website, thesportsballers.com, recapping the Wizards and their games and all the stuff coming along with that. So feel free to check that out if you enjoy being miserable like me. But now, this week on the Sports Ballers, Week 7 recap. Some not great games, but we'll talk about them. And some Week 8 preview games that we're not that excited about. So we might spend a little more time on baseball today because the World Series is set and we are looking forward to that. So Corey, whenever you're ready, play that music. Episode of the Sports Ballers podcast. My name is Eric Meyer. I am joined by Corey Puffett and Evan Ash as always. Fellas, how are we feeling tonight?
It'd be better if I wasn't sick.
Yes.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
I don't know. Tired and irritated and hungry, I guess. But
it's a little bit of an irritable podcast today. So we might
home until
Tuesday
7 and you
boy.
didn't eat.
Like we'll try to keep this one as succinct as possible before one of us loses our minds.
Or all three of us.
Too late for that. So we're off the rails already. But let's get into some football as we usually do to start the show. And Corey, your Lions played the first of 2 Monday Night Football games last night against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and your boys came away with a pretty darn big win. How you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty good. I went into that game not really expecting us. I felt like we could win, but I wasn't really expecting it, especially with both Ibuka and Evans playing, and literally our entire starting secondary being out. Like our 3 top defenders were out with injury for Tyrion Arnold, injury for Kirby Joseph, suspension for Brian Branch. And then on top of that, our next 2 guys were also out. And so we had all backups. And I'm thinking, oh my God, this is Baker Mayfield. He's going to have a freaking field day against us. And they came out and just ran the ball all of the first 3 drives and kept going 3 and out or getting a first down on a penalty and then punting. They could not do anything on offense. And I couldn't believe it because we had a great first drive. Only Jared Goff's second first quarter touchdown pass in the past 2 years. And that's during a time frame where he leads the NFL in touchdown passes. That was only the second that came in the first quarter. We're up 7-0 right off the bat, and we're still up 7-0 halfway through the second quarter because our offense started doing nothing. We had the strip sack, but we got the win. We got enough of a cushion. The Bucs didn't do enough on offense. Had a couple close calls where Mike Evans had to try and make circus catches and couldn't quite keep it in bounds, and then he went out with what looked like a concussion. Turns out it was a broken collarbone on what would have been another terrific catch attempt. And unfortunately for him, nothing there doing for him. But it's our 5th straight win on Monday Night Football, which is a team record.
That's pretty good.
Can't complain.
Evan, did you watch this game?
I saw a little bit of it, and I was surprised that, with the whole back end of the Lions defense being injured or suspended, that, seemed like the Buccaneers with Baker Mayfield should have been able to light them up, and that didn't happen.
Yeah, it was a bit of a weird game just because I think for the first time all season we saw Baker be a little off, right? He sailed a couple of throws. He had Ibuka open a couple of times. I just remember he was a little high with the throws. He was under pressure for much of the night. And the Lions did an excellent job of not letting Baker have the highlight reel flip the momentum type scrambles.
Yeah, I mean, definitely got to give it to our front seven. Like our defensive line, our linebackers were flying around the field, making excellent open field tackles, generating pressure, not giving Rachaad White a lot of open lanes to run through.
Yeah, and again, the Lions had the big plays in this game. Obviously, the Jahmyr Gibbs huge run with
dude is just lightning quick. He's so incredible, and I love the way that we block for him. I mean, early in the game, he had that one catch and run for like 28 yards, and you saw Amon-Ra St. Brown hauling ass when he noticed that he broke the guy's ankles to cut up field. He just starts running up field to try and lay down a block. You saw Penei Sewell, his fat ass just sprinting downfield. And unfortunately, he whipped on the block, and so the guy made an excellent ankle tackle on Gibbs to save the touchdown. But
Penei Sewell calling him the fat ass. He's the best offensive lineman in football.
No, he absolutely is.
Great.
But he's heavy.
Of course,
it's impressive when you can watch a heavy dude like that run the way he does.
He's an athlete for sure. But and we've talked about that before. We mentioned that when the Lions beat the Ravens, where everybody was just kind of like everybody on the team seems like they're engaged, ready to block, ready to hit somebody, including the receivers. Especially Amon-Ra St. Brown kind of leads the pack with that. And Amon-Ra at this point has earned credibility as one of the best receivers in football. Like he's easily top 5, probably top 3 if we're being completely honest about it. And yet he's still willing to get his nose dirty. He's absolutely that guy, and I think that that's a huge. Like we know about Dan Campbell and his motivational abilities, his culture setting, but you got to have somebody on the field that reflects that too. And it kind of reminds me a little bit of Larry Fitzgerald when he was a Cardinal, where he was like the best receiver in the league, but also the only good receiver that wasn't a diva. And I feel like that just helps shape your entire culture on the field as well. And
it's what I love most about Amon-Ra. I mean, he's got that attitude. Like when he scores a touchdown, he can let that out sometimes, but it's not negative, and it fuels the team. When you have a guy who's that talented, who is not above, like you said, getting his nose dirty, going out and just laying down a block for somebody else to have the big play, that rubs off on the other guys on the team. Like you'll even occasionally see Jameson Williams lay down a block, and he's not the kind of guy that you would point to and be like, oh yeah, I could totally see him being a wide receiver who's willing to get in the trenches.
Yeah, and I think part of it is you look at how Amon-Ra became such a good player. He wasn't a freak athlete prospect, right? Like there's a reason why he wasn't a first-round pick, but he got to where he is because his route running is perfect. Like he's an immaculate route runner. He does the things that require effort and thought and constantly being aware of how to become a better football player. So that reflects with his personality, with how he treats his other tasks as well.
And last week's aberration notwithstanding, he's got excellent hands. He does not drop passes typically. That's why it was so surprising on Sunday Night Football against the Chiefs last week when he did. But I mean, they were talking that was in his mind all week. He was a man possessed all week, getting ready for this game, and it showed in that first drive, and it showed for most of the game.
Yeah, and we believed he would bounce back, and he did. So, and then Baker again, not his best game, but he did get a little unlucky in this game. Like he and the Bucs have been relying on him and guys like Mike Evans and Ibuka making those big plays on those crazy throws down the field. And they just weren't there today yesterday actually, for whatever reason. But like especially the Mike Evans one, where it was such a good throw and such a good catch, and then he only dropped the ball because he suffered a catastrophic injury. And so not only do you lose a huge play that was likely going to end in a touchdown at that point, like for that drive, you also lose your top receiver. And again, Mike Evans isn't just their best receiver. Ibuka aside, obviously he's great. He's also their guy franchise-wise. He's been there for, a dozen years.
Has never not had a 1,000-yard season, and it's unfortunate that that's likely going to come to an end because of an injury.
Yeah, and he's been, he's had moments where he's been, I don't want to call him a diva, but he's gotten a little bit of trouble with, Marshawn Lattimore back in the day, but that was all competitive spirit. He's always been so committed to that franchise, and so he comes back after, a few weeks of injury, and then just immediately suffers probably a regular season-ending injury, and that's just a killer. It just seemed like it deflated the Bucs. And then, of course, the interception, I think it was Cade Otton was the target, was the tight end, where he made the catch, but then he basically got it stolen from him, and it was was it simultaneous possession? The refs reviewed it. I think it was the right call.
I think it was too.
But it was just that. But that's not on Baker Mayfield.
No,
that pick wasn't his fault.
Yeah.
So, tough break for him. His MVP
You started
candidacy.
him this week.
I did.
Yeah, he got you like 8 or 9 points.
Did you win?
No, I don't think so. I haven't checked.
I don't think you did. No,
I
you
don't
lost
think I-
because he was playing against Steven, who was the only person who outscored you.
Yeah, Steven's team went off, as did mine, which is a lot of fun. I enjoy being good at fantasy football again for a year. It's not too shabby. Anyway, let's move on let's go back to Thursday night because that happened. The Joe Flacco Bengals beat the Pittsburgh Steelers and beat them down, mainly because Joe Flacco understood the assignment.
2 points.
Understood the assignment. And the assignment for the Bengals that somehow Jake Browning couldn't figure out is just throw the ball to Ja'Marr Chase, dude.
23 targets.
He threw it to 23
23
times.
targets.
And it was almost always like the same route, and the Steelers couldn't stop him.
He had like 4 or 5 straight plays to open the second half, just throwing it to Ja'Marr.
Yeah.
I mean, Joe's a smart guy. Like, get Ja'Marr Chase the ball. If it's obvious to us, it should be obvious to somebody who makes their living playing football or coaching football.
Well, and you think and you would think it would be obvious to the Steelers to maybe try to do something about it because, I realize that T. Higgins is also on the team and he's also a fantastic receiver, but Ja'Marr Chase is the clear WR1 on that team.
And just take the 2 of them away. This is Joe Flacco we're talking about. This is not a guy who you're going to expect to get to his 3rd read in the progression consistently.
It's Joe Flacco behind a bad line, and
Right.
he's a statue. So he's
Right.
not going to buy time, and he's not going to, he's not Tom Brady back there processing. He's on a new team. He just got here, right?
Yeah.
So
if you double the 2 of them, yeah, you might get a few small completions to guys who don't know how to get yak. Big whoop.
you'll take that. So, again, this kind of – we talked about the Steelers, though, how they were a little bit of a fraud team. They feel like when they were –
They've just it's been Cupcake City their whole schedule, just a bunch of terrible teams all in a row. Look how great the Steelers are. They beat the Jets.
barely beat the Jets. We talked about that week 1 where that was just – they should
Who
have
have
lost.
the Jets beaten? Exactly.
0
Yeah,
teams.
goose egg. Like, their only game that looks impressive is when they beat the Patriots. But the Patriots had 5 turnovers in that game.
Yeah, the Patriots gave them that game.
And the thing is, the Patriots we always kind of saw as a team that was going to round into form later. So to get them in the early part of the schedule was a
of
gift
course.
in and of itself. And, of course, again, the Steelers are another team where all their big games are at home. So, that's kind of been their saving their asses every week, it seems, until this week where they lost a game that they had no business losing.
Yeah, I mean, the Vikings game was not that great of a win for them.
Carson Wentz starting.
The Cleveland Browns, this is a rookie quarterback. Pittsburgh's defense tends to eat rookie quarterbacks, and that's what they did. Now they get to play Green Bay this week.
Yeah.
I don't think they have a chance. They get to play Indianapolis, who's a wagon right now. Then they get to play in LA against the Chargers. And they get a cupcake against the Bengals, who just beat them, by the way, so maybe not so much of a cupcake.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it that.
Then they get to play the Bears, who by that time of the season you would hope maybe have kind of gotten something going with Ben Johnson. Who knows?
4-2.
And they get to play Buffalo, Baltimore, who hopefully is going to figure something out now that Lamar Jackson's back. Miami, Detroit, Cleveland, Baltimore. They don't have a lot of games left that I would say are winnable with their current state.
Yeah, and I would say that there's no cupcakes on the schedule when you're also not good, and that's pretty clear. We used to think that when we rooted for a certain team over there in Raljon, where it's we get to play the Browns or the St. Louis Rams back when they were that, and we're like, sweet, this should be a win. I'm like, but we're us. We're very capable of also not winning. They're looking at us and saying, hey, wait, we could win today. So that's how the Steelers should feel to most teams.
Yeah, there was talk about the Giants having the toughest schedule this year based on last year's records, and I'm like, well, yeah, because the Giants don't get to play the Giants. That's why. It's one of the reasons why.
You contribute to everybody else's records being good because they keep beating you.
Yeah.
So that's part of the deal. So let's talk about those Giants real quick because they played in what's probably going to end up being the game of the year, and not in the Giants' favor.
No,
not in my favor for fantasy either, because freaking Sean had Bo Nix, who had 5 fantasy points going into the fourth quarter, and he finished with 40.
I was going to ask this
40.
because
He finished with 40.
I know you're the fantasy stats guru, but I know that you probably don't track by quarter. That fourth quarter has to be the greatest quarter in the history of fantasy football.
And it's all because the Giants' defense, became a sieve, and the Giants' offense kept turning the ball over and giving them short fields. They were still down, they were down by 19 at the beginning of the fourth quarter, 19-0. They were down by 19 again with 5 minutes left.
That was 18, but nevertheless, same idea.
Yeah, it was 18. They cut it to 18.
Yeah, it was 6
They were
minutes to
getting
go, and it was an 18-point game. It's
Regardless.
Never been done until Sunday.
Well, not quite. So teams that were leading by 18 or more points with 6 minutes or fewer left in the fourth quarter were something like 1 and 3,267, I believe, going into Sunday. That was the second time since 1970 that a team has won in that situation.
Who was the first one?
I don't remember. I don't think I saw. I don't think it said.
Oops. That sounds like a problem.
Yeah.
It's like a Pottsville Maroons situation.
Yeah, so good job, Brian Dable.
So this is now 2 losses that, but the previous dumbest loss of the year was probably Giants versus Cowboys, where they blew that game. They somehow topped that by a country mile by blowing this game. They're 2-5 now, and they probably should be 4-3. And 2 of those games, or maybe 3, I don't remember how many Russ actually started, but Russ sucks. And you're 2-2 now with Jackson Dart, and you probably should be 3-1. At some point, we talked about how Brian Daboll desperately wanted Jackson Dart to save his job. That's why he was practically yelling at the medical examiners to make sure, hey, get him back on the field. He's going into the tent while they're checking. Otherwise, I'm going to get fired.
All right, I think we're back.
Okay. But then you got to save yourself, dude. Right? You can't constantly have your team blowing these games. And I realized that Dart threw probably the dumbest interception of the year, which kind of spurred the comeback. But the whole operation was just shoddy. And again, Bo Nix, 2 rushing touchdowns, 2 passing touchdowns in the fourth quarter. Just insane how quickly he turned around because he looked terrible for 3 quarters.
I think this might be the game I saw the most of. I got home Sunday afternoon and just put the red zone on and was, looking at my phone or whatever. And then it just got crazy. All of a sudden the Giants just forgot how to football. They just completely just imploded in all phases, right? Their kicker doinked 2 extra points.
Well,
Is he
the
still
last one, there wasn't
employed,
even a doink.
by the way? Well, not doinked, but shanked.
He doesn't have a real number either. He's 99 or something. That's
Hey. Aaron
Okay.
Judge is pretty darn good.
Aaron Judge is a baseball player. This is a kicker. Kickers don't wear 99. Practice squad dudes wear 99. That's probably where he should be relegated to because he's terrible.
I think this guy was like a backup kicker or something. So it's yet another situation where the Giants have totally fumbled their backup kicker situation, and it costs them another win.
Yeah, and the thing is, they actually took the lead back after they initially had blown it, and then they blew it again.
Yes.
So,
yes,
a twofer.
all of that happened.
Yeah.
Jackson Dart throwing an interception, he's a rookie. He's going to throw interceptions. The Broncos defense is allegedly good. And, rookie quarterbacks sometimes do dumb stuff out there. But,
Jackson Dart particularly seems like he's capable of making some really dumb mistakes. He's a meathead out there.
He's an Ole Miss guy,
Him and Scadaboo are 2 peas in the same pod. And that's okay for a running back. You can't have that from a quarterback.
No, for a health reason and for managing the end of a game, right? I need
Never
you
just
to
managing a team. Whether you're a game manager or not, you have to manage the team. We have to be able to trust that you're going to make the right decision.
Ole Miss blew a whole bunch of games last year with him at the helm. Where are you throwing the ball at, man?
I saw that too.
Yeah.
So, all right, so let's move on. So we've got 2 other games to discuss here, and I'm trying to remember which ones we actually want to talk about. Colts-Chargers, because the Colts, Evan, are you starting to believe?
As much as I really don't want to and still don't.
You do. Highest points per drive ever.
I am so
0.3
incredibly
higher than the
reluctant.
2007 Patriots. That's not a small margin.
It's also only week 7, but
Sure.
I don't
But
think
it's still
gonna
not a
sustain.
small margin. And
they haven't played nearly as many terrible teams as the Steelers have.
No, they've had some big wins. Their one loss this year is to the Rams, and they blew that game, right? Like, they should have won that game.
Mm-hmm.
I caught a lot of this game because I was just watching, and is early in the game. I think it might have been their first offensive drive or second, and the Colts have the ball. It's 4th down and like 3 or 4 from their own 35, and they line up to go for it. And I'm just like, what are these morons doing? And they run a play, and the running back, I don't remember who it was, if it was a pass or run, but like it looked like he was tackled just short, and it was going to be a turnover on downs. I looked away, my eyes bounced back to it, and the Colts were still on the field. Well, it turns out he actually did get to the line to gain, and I'm like, okay, so that drive's still going. 3 other times on that drive, the Colts went for it on 4th down. That's just what they do, which is why I said, like, that's a huge part of the reason why their points per drive is so high, is because they refuse to punt. Right, like they're perfectly happy to give up points because they gave up a short field. They want to leave their offense on the field for as long as possible, and that's just got to be so frustrating for a defense, because you're giving up 18-play drives with all those extra plays that are thrown in there every time they decide to go for 4th down, and you can't get off the field.
Yeah,
I'm not seeing a 4th down play by the Colts, so maybe there's a penalty on it or something.
Yeah, I don't know. All I know is they're still out there. Yeah,
like Jonathan Taylor is back. Like, the dude is just lights out. He's so tough. He doesn't go down, keeps his legs churning, so well balanced, fast. He had 3 rushing touchdowns in that game. Like, that takes so much pressure off of a quarterback like Daniel Jones, who has some talent. I don't think any of us have ever said that Daniel Jones has no talent. He just, you could not trust him to be the guy for an offense.
right.
If you asked him to do too much, he was going to throw interceptions. He was going to tackle himself at the 20-yard line. He was going to fumble the ball. But, like, he's a talented player. If you can give him a lighter, secondary by forcing a team to stack the box, specifically against the run, not with pass rushing, like, he's going to tear you up. And he had a very efficient day. Like, he had 23 completions, 11 incompletions, almost 300 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Like, that's a really good day. And then you throw in 3 touchdowns on 94 yards for Jonathan Taylor. Like,
yeah,
that's a winning formula.
The offensive unit is excellent for sure.
Michael Pittman is playing well. Tyler Warren is,
Tyler Warren,
3 years in a row that we've had a rookie tight end who's just really good.
And the Colts or the Bears refused to draft him. They talked themselves into Loveland instead, which was insane.
How's that working out for him?
That was really, really dumb. But yeah, Jonathan Taylor made me nervous a couple of times because I didn't realize that his celly when he scores a touchdown is to hop on one leg. So I was kind of like, oh crap, did he get hurt?
Like Icky Smith or something?
Yeah, and then he did it again the second time. I was like, okay, Eric, he's not actually hurt. Relax, it's fine. One of these days, it's gonna happen, and he's actually hurt, and I'm just gonna be like, oh crap. But yeah, he's great. The Colts defense has kind of been their question mark because they've looked really good at times. In this game, I thought they looked great until it was garbage time. Like the Chargers put up some late touchdowns. Herbert padded his stats a little bit, but yeah, it was a dominant effort. And again, the Chargers are kind of drawing dead. We talked about that. Their offensive line's hurt. Their defense is no longer putting up the same fight that they had earlier in the season. They've now fallen to second place behind the Broncos, even though they had a win over them, and they're tied with the Chiefs for second. And it's not looking great for them. They're trending in the wrong direction.
Yeah, right now the Colts are. Let's see here. I'm trying to find the per game, and I am not seeing it right now.
Well, they're doing pretty good. So
But yes.
yeah. All right, so we will see if we can get whatever fancy stat Corey is ready to pull up. But let's move on now to our last game to discuss from Week 7. Eagles-Vikings, because I didn't think we'd be talking about this game at the start of it, but Jalen Hurts had probably the best game of his career regular season-wise in this game. He was fantastic when they absolutely needed him to be, and A.J. Brown finally showed up to work and was able to make some plays. Evan, did you watch any of this game?
Not really. I was at the airport. I was trying to watch Red Zone. I fell asleep. Got to my gate super early. But, I mean, apparently Jalen Hurts was balling out. So, that's...
Yeah, it was kind of a roller coaster game. You got a Carson Wentz pick 6 thrown in there, so can always count on that. But, yeah, it was... The Eagles were dominating early. Their offense sputtered. Their run game has been really bad this year, all things considered. Like, their offensive line has not been as good. Saquon hasn't been as good. We've discussed that. So they kind of needed a boost this week, and I think they really got it from their passing game, which kind of saved their week because they were coming off of 2 straight losses. And if it got to 3, it would have gotten real, real ugly in Philly.
Well, the crazy thing, though, is that, yeah, they had some big pass plays. They had the long touchdown pass to Smith. He had the 2 touchdown passes that were pretty big to A.J. Brown. But the offensive success rate for the Eagles in that game was like minus 12% to around 0% roughly for the Vikings. The Vikings offense was better than the Eagles in this game by a lot. Like, that was not a small margin. The only margin of differential between 2 teams' success rates in the same game this week was the Chiefs versus the Raiders. And that game ended 31-0 in favor of the Chiefs. Here, the Eagles won the game 28-22 somehow.
Every time the red zone went over that Kansas City game, it just got uglier and uglier. It was.
Can't believe I picked the Raiders against the spread.
Ooh. I did too.
I think I might have I probably did.
It was like 11.5. I was like, that's too many. The Chiefs offense.
The Raiders always play the Chiefs tough.
Well,
they usually do.
Not anymore, apparently. It's a new day.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the Eagles' success rate wasn't that high, but they made the big plays, and that's what flipped the game, right? Like the long touchdowns plus the huge catch for A.J. Brown on to basically seal the game, and of course the pick six, right? Like, one pick six goes in the book as one failed play. It's the same as 2nd and 10 handoff for 2 yards, according to that stat. But obviously, one is much more impactful to your chances of winning or losing versus the other. So the Eagles definitely did what they had to do to kind of scrape this one out because they were not playing good football. But Jalen Hurts was playing at a high level, and that was the difference. Any other thoughts on Week 7 before we get to this just fantastic slate of games of Week 8?
Nope.
My sarcasm wasn't clear there. We'll start with this one because I don't really know if I should call this an exciting game, but it's a important game. Evan,
excited.
Your boys, the Balmer Ravens, coming off a bye, 1-5, freshly watching the Steelers blow a game to the Bengals and leave the door open to win this division. You're hosting the Bears. Are y'all gonna win?
Well, I mean, if ever there's a must-win game in the regular season, it's this one. Like that's really all it is. They've had a week off to dissect and self-scout and practice and prepare and tell Fa Lele to block guys on the other team.
And fall to 1-6 because I thought they lost to that bye.
I mean, I was saying I might take bye plus the points on this one because yikes. So and Harbaugh's got a great record coming off a bye and everything, but it's a results-oriented business. You got to get it done when it's time to get it done.
The Bears have a winning record.
Yeah,
and there's only 3 teams in the NFL with a worse record than the Ravens.
Who was
The Jets.
worse
The Saints
than the Ravens?
The Jets are a full.
The Saints and the Dolphins, I would guess.
The Saints and the Titans.
Oh, right, because the Dolphins had a bye.
Or actually, no, Dolphins too. I missed one.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
sweet.
so 4.
Okay.
Whew.
So we're all the way up to 27th
So
place.
you stayed outside the Mount Rushmore of crap.
Yeah.
Nice. That's exciting.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I mean, our defense still sucks. Like I am not optimistic.
I wouldn't be.
Ever, but especially not optimistic.
Somehow
this
they're like laying, what is it, 6.5 points? Is that still the
Ravens
spread?
are laying
the spread?
points.
I'm not surprised by that at all.
I mean, I know they got Lamar back and they're at home.
Well, Lamar didn't
but
practice
Yeah, like
yesterday.
that's the part that I'm concerned about.
right?
Is the fact
They
that
got Lamar back. Well, he ain't back, is he?
I think
Where's he at though?
most people are anticipating Lamar's going to return this week. But the fact that he hasn't been practicing yet this week suggests that while he's going to play, he's either going to have kid gloves on or he might be compromised a little bit. And
It's Tuesday. I'm not too worried about it just yet.
yeah,
but
yeah, and they're
definitely
coming off a
something
bye.
to
Again,
watch.
there's no need to rush it, but we also know how the Ravens play with their injuries, and they don't actually tell the truth. So it is something to keep an eye on. But again, like if Lamar's on the field and he is something resembling Lamar Jackson, which I presume he will when he plays, the Ravens absolutely should win this game.
Yeah.
But, the Ravens also, aside from losing games this year to good teams, historically, they love to throw a clunker in there multiple times a year. And they can't afford that now. They've got no room
Particularly
for
in
error.
2017 at home to Mitch Trubisky and the Bears. That happened.
Okay, well, that was a while ago. And
Okay. The Ravens had no business losing that game either.
y'all weren't that good in 2017, though.
Because we lost the Bears.
Yeah.
The Bears sucked.
Well, so did the Ravens that year. So, all right. Let's move on to Packers-Steelers. Aaron Rodgers' revenge game of sorts, which,
I don't know that he'll be taking revenge in this one.
No, I think that Micah Parsons might be all over him because Rodgers can't move very well anymore. He gets skittish in the pocket. We've talked about that. Again, he lit up the Bengals because the Bengals are just the most flammable defense I've ever seen, except for the Baltimore Ravens, apparently. So,
Yeah, I mean, Parsons had a pretty good game this week, and he needed it because going into this week, he was one of two notable players in the NFL who play defense who had fewer tackles than Ja'Marr Chase on the year. It was him and Chris Jones.
that stat still applied to this week?
I think so. It certainly still applied for Parsons. I don't know if it still did for Jones.
Chris
'Cause
Jones, yeah.
finally
So-
had something going against the
So
Lions.
Micah Parsons had only had like 3
3 or
tackles
4
all year.
Yeah, 3 or 4.
I thought he had that many sacks.
What? That doesn't.
That's
That's really hard to believe.
yeah, that's
That's
kind of nuts.
wild.
Well, yeah, but he did have a good game this week, and
Who did the Packers even play?
I already forgot. They won, but I forgot who they played. The Cardinals,
Ugh.
and they made it interesting. The Cardinals almost beat them.
The Cardinals should be contracted from the league.
I agree. So I'm looking it up now, and Micah Parsons has 8 solo tackles and 8 assists. So I'm not sure.
Right,
Corey.
but some of those came this week.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's true. Look at the game log. That's right there for a little peek. So this week he had 5 combined tackles, including 3 sacks.
Okay, so maybe it didn't apply to this week. But-
Well, no, but that was this week. He
No. I know. So I'm saying it might not have been like that. He was still below Ja'Marr Chase entering this week.
Well, okay. Regardless, he's made some plays.
Yeah.
And he got bolstered his sack numbers against Jacoby Brissett and the Cardinals. So, but I still think the Packers are good. Their offense is good. Romeo Doubs is good. Kraft is good. They've got playmakers that are like sort of not really well respected around the league, but they get it done. And the Steelers' defense is cheeks, and they can't stop the run. And Josh Jacobs is going to run right through you. So I'm not anticipating happy times for the Steelers in this one.
No disagreement out of me.
Side note, not as important, but does anybody else feel like an assisted tackle should only count as half a tackle?
I
Like,
thought they usually did.
like when you have combined tackles, just add your solo tackles to your number of assisted tackles.
So it's like a goal and an assist both being a point in hockey. It's really annoying.
Does this matter?
Yeah.
Eh.
But worse than that is like that the secondary assist also counts
Yes.
as a point.
That's that. Now we are
It's
completely
exactly the
off.
same.
Yeah, we are completely off the reservation here. We're talking about hockey in front of Evan. I'm surprised he hasn't had a meltdown over that. But anyway, anything else on Packers Steelers? Evan,
No,
you,
no,
you,
not
you
really.
need the Packers to help you out this week.
Yeah, and they might not because the Steelers just they get lucky a lot of times, like with the Patriots fumbling 5 times and stuff. I mean, the Packers should win this game.
I agree.
The Packers, to me, are clearly the better team.
Yep. So again, kind of hinted at it in the intro and at the start of the show. This is not the most exciting slate of games I've ever seen, which is why our third game here is Cowboys-Broncos. The Broncos are coming off of a raucous victory against the Giants, which we just talked about, and Dak Prescott is balling out. He probably should be an MVP favorite, if not the MVP favorite right now. He has played incredible football, but the Cowboys are only 3-1. Still in a good position to make a run and maybe get a playoff spot, but their defense is really bad too.
Their defense has been bad. They finally had a pretty solid game this week, and granted, they were only playing against Jaden Daniels for a little over half of it because Daniels got hurt. But I mean, they blew out Washington. It was 44-22.
Yeah,
It's almost scoregami.
The Cowboys were the better team the entire time, even when Daniels was on the field.
Yeah, no, I mean, Javonte Williams has been incredible for them this year. Like, the dude looked like he was washed last year. It looked like that knee injury, just he was not going to come back from it. Just turned out he needed an extra year because he's been great for Dallas. George Pickens has been lights out. CeeDee Lamb came back and was very effective on Sunday. Jake Ferguson has broken out this season. Like this offense is elite, and Dak Prescott is absolutely a big part of that. But it's also they have so many fantastic skill position players around him, and their play calling has actually been really good this year for a change.
Backwards visor guy might be legit, Corey.
We'll see.
He feels a little Mike McDaniel-ish to me. But,
I'm not buying it long term yet. Like I've gotten to that point now where we've seen enough coaches who come in and everything seems to be just dandy for a while, and then the wheels fall off. That I am holding my long term praise for a coach for a while, but it's working right now, and right now is all that matters right now.
Yeah, that sounds like a show title. Super redundant.
My head is still spinning after that.
Did you? Are you excited to watch?
Infinity symbol of a phrase.
You excited to watch Cowboys Broncos, Evan?
Not
really.
Particularly.
No.
Is that this game's in Denver?
I believe it is.
Okay. I mean,
I think
it'll be a shootout at best, right? But I'm not super
it's in
excited.
Denver.
Yeah, the Broncos worry me a little bit just because the version of Bo Nix that we expected to see last year, we're getting this year. Like, he is as erratic as he ever was at Auburn and at Oregon, right? He's back to being that guy. It seemed like Sean Payton was able to temper that for a year, and now he's kind of turning into a bit of a freewheeling gunslinger, which not always what you want, but they're 5-2, and they just had a big win, and the Cowboys are coming off of a big win against the Commodes, so we'll see what they do. But that does it for football. Let's before we get to the World Series and what we saw in the Championship Series, I would be remiss. My favorite player, Draymond Green, would also be remiss. He plays tonight because the NBA is back, baby.
A game that counts.
Yes,
It started for real.
It's the games started counting an hour ago on NBC. NBA's back on NBC. Evan, you excited?
No,
You don't like Round Ball Rock theme song?
that song is cool.
It is a cool song, yes. But anyway, the Rockets and Thunder are currently engaged in a contest in Oklahoma City. It was ring night and banner night for Oklahoma City. They're coming off of their championship run last year. And, of course, the NBA schedulers just had to be as dramatic as possible by making sure that Kevin Durant was present, because Kevin Durant is now a member of the Houston Rockets.
What?
We talked, maybe we didn't talk. We didn't have a show back then. So, no, we did not talk about that. And that's the only way Evan finds out about anything when it comes to the NBA is on this show. And he probably only retains about 30% of that anyway. But yes, Kevin Durant was traded to the Rockets in the offseason.
What team was he on before?
And
was on the
signed a
Suns.
massive extension, 2 years and what was it?
It was a 2-year max extension, like 190.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big
Only
bucks.
190.
Yeah.
For 2 years.
Huge money. But yeah, Kevin Durant is now a Rocket. They traded for him. They gave up Jalen Green and Devin. I can't believe I'm drawing Dylan Brooks. I'm about to call him Devin Brooks. I mixed up Devin Booker and Dylan Brooks. They're teammates now, so that's fun. So they sent Kevin Durant to Houston because they were desperate to have somebody who could actually put the ball in the basket for them because they struggled against the Warriors last year with scoring.
And it's working so far. They're up by 1.
Yes, they're up by a point in the second quarter against Oklahoma City. But
They got 46 points with 4 minutes to go. It's not bad.
I don't know. Kevin Durant is 3 of 8 from the field. He's not exactly lighting it up. So
Maybe he's drawing some attention away for the other offensive players.
yeah, sure.
This couldn't be less relevant.
It's basketball, baby. It's back.
Yeah.
You know?
The association.
The association is back, Evan. You gonna read Wizards Weekly?
No.
The Weekly Whiz?
Yeah.
The
Let's say,
Weekly
you already
Whiz.
forgot
I already
the
forgot my
of your own
title.
column.
Because it's a working title. We'll figure it out.
I like it.
I think I'm sticking with it.
Does
But
anybody else have a column titled that?
I didn't check. If they do, get off me because I'm taking it. But anyway, so that's the first game of the doubleheader on
Google search
NBC
doesn't show anything. So
/ Peacock. So the second game is Lakers at Warriors. I'm sorry, I messed that up. Warriors at Lakers. Golden State coming off of their pretty decent season after they traded for Jimmy Butler last year. Their playoff run kind of got short-circuited by Steph Curry's hamstring injury against the Timberwolves, but they probably weren't getting past the Thunder anyway because the Thunder are a wagon. And the Lakers are coming back. First full season with Luka Doncic as their point guard. LeBron James has sciatica, which sounds like something that old people get.
Is that something that can be
Tony
cured with
almost like-
Hennessy?
Yeah.
Can that be cured with Hennessy?
Apparently, a lot of things can be secured with Hennessy, but apparently can't get LeBron James on the court tonight. So he's going to be out until probably mid-November with that injury. So the Warriors are favored to win that game tonight. But that's I don't really want to get into a full preview, but this show does love it when I find a way to kill coaches. So I do have to make that prediction here on this podcast.
You keep the axe sharp too.
Yeah, I somehow I don't even understand that. The Ime Udoka one is still the
most
goat.
outrageous.
That's still the most ridiculous one, and that includes me killing my own football team's coach. Right, I killed Sean Payton.
You did.
But that at least
Although
made
he resurrected, he's been doing pretty well
yeah,
for
and
himself
but
in Denver.
he retiring after like a year after Breeze retires, that made some sense. Ime Udoka made no sense. Like they were coming off a finals run in his first year, and they fired him because of something that had nothing to do with basketball.
No, it had everything to do with our podcast.
Blame it on me, man, because I'll take full credit for that. But anyway, my pick for Coach of the Year this year is Jamahl Mosley. Evan's probably asking, who is Jamahl Mosley? Jamahl Mosley is the head coach of the Orlando Magic. Evan's probably asking, who are the Orlando Magic?
I'm familiar with.
With their oeuvre.
I know what the Orlando Magic are.
You are familiar that they have a basketball team in
Yes.
Orlando called the Magic.
Do they
at the
have
Amway
Paolo
Center.
Banchero?
Yes,
still?
they do. They
Oh,
do have
okay.
Paolo Banchero, and they traded for Desmond Bane from the Memphis Grizzlies last year. He's an outstanding three-point shooter, kind of a borderline all-star type of player. They also have Franz Wagner. Do you know who that is, Evan?
That could be anybody.
Okay, he's clearly German, if that wasn't clear. Yeah.
Yes, not anybody,
Yeah.
Evan.
He's just
Okay.
one of the 80 million people from Germany instead.
I'm glad that I looked up this guy's name because there's an H hidden in that first name.
I had to look it
What?
up again just to make sure.
Jamahl Mosley,
Yeah.
Jamahl.
Yes.
What?
Yeah, this is why I don't feel bad if he gets fired. So, but anyway, so I expect the Magic to make a pretty good run this year. The East is pretty weak, especially with Jason Tatum being hurt and probably out for the whole season, if not most of it. There's some optimism that he could return, but I think that's kind of crazy. And obviously Tyrese Halliburton with the Pacers is out for the year after he blew out his Achilles in Game 7 of the Finals. So it's really just the Knicks and then maybe the Cavs and then whoever's going to be an upstart team. I think that upstart team's going to be the Magic. Last year, they looked like they were going to make a run, but they kind of had a year from hell when it came to injuries. Still made the playoffs, still played a decent round, but I think this year is when they kind of make a jump, maybe get to 50 wins, and I think that'll be enough to get Mosley the Coach of the Year award.
They have the 6th highest expected win total according to BetMGM.
Yeah.
They're at 51.5.
They're 51.5, and I would say I would bet over on that. I think they get to 52, 53 wins. I think that they're that good of a team, and they're playing the Eastern Conference. They've got free wins everywhere. So
How many times to get the Wizards? 4?
they're in the same division. They might get them 6.
6 times?
They have the 3rd highest projected win total in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, probably behind the Cavs and the Knicks.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the only other team that I even considered for this was Quinn Snyder and the Hawks, because they look like another team that could make a push because they made some moves to improve their team.
Yeah,
and
they're the next Eastern Conference team with the
Yeah.
win total.
So, that's
47.5.
So that's my pick for Coach of the Year. Good luck to you, sir, Jamahl Mosley, because life finds a way to get people fired when I pick them to win this award. So
Should have picked the Raptors if you're going to go with that reference.
That would be pretty apt.
they do have the Velocicoaster in Orlando.
Yes.
Oh.
Keep that in mind. Fun fact. All right, let's move on to baseball because I'm sure you guys just love it when I yammer about hoops. You can read Weekly Whiz for that later. I'm going to keep plugging it.
Weekly Whiz.
Weekly Whiz. I thought that was pretty good.
I like it.
But anyway, so let's talk some baseball. We had one super exciting 7-game series in the American League and then one super exciting sweep because of what happened in Game 4 in the National League. So we'll start with Shohei Ohtani having literally the greatest game in the history of games. 3 home runs, 6 shutout innings with 10 Ks.
God.
All at once. He did this all at once to punch his team's ticket to the World Series. And Saswat was there.
All right.
That's
yes,
crazy.
He was.
He only saw only saw one of the home runs. He saw the third one.
What was he doing?
He missed the first one because he's getting into Dodger Stadium, and
Oh, he was stuck in the traffic.
yeah, and then he was getting a beer for the second one.
You don't get a beer when Shohei Ohtani's coming up.
Or when
think-
you're like 7 spots away from him
Yeah.
in the order, like Eric
when
and
we're,
I did.
when
at
we're
the
6
Orioles
spots
game.
away from Otani, he's not going to get up by the time we're back for food. And then Grayson Rodriguez just keeps putting everybody on base. I'm like, oh crap, he's already up.
Yeah.
Couldn't believe
And then
it.
we just hear.
Yes.
We heard crack. We heard just, ooh.
So-
Yeah.
Whoa, dude.
I was curious about this, so I went back and I looked through every single player game. I had to keep it manageable, so I just stick to Major League Baseball's postseason history, and I couldn't find a single other player who did this.
Well, how many pitchers ever hit home runs? Thank you, Corey.
What?
Are you gonna sit there and get mad at Sarah Langs now because she stole your stat? Like
Couldn't find any player who did. First of all, the postseason
didn't
wasn't
exist,
a thing,
yeah.
right? Like they.
It was the World Series for most of baseball's
like
history.
That's why it was manageable.
the first league championship series were in 1969. Okay,
Yeah.
so there was that.
Yeah.
And then pitchers haven't been able to hit like at all since like 1910, 1920.
Well,
They
they've
still got
had
to check because they still came up to bat.
they've had the opportunity to hit, they just weren't good at
And
it.
you
Yeah,
also
they
have
just weren't good at it.
you also have some players who may have gone in to pitch like late in the game.
Who's
Maybe they
pitching
could have gotten
6
10
innings?
10 strikeouts in a game. Who knows?
But
I did not want to leave any stones unturned, guys.
Sounds like you left a lot of them unturned because you didn't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
It's a pretty safe bet. Like that's one of those things where when he hit the third one, I'm like, okay, I know this has never happened before.
Yeah.
I thought 2 was plausible, 3 no chance, but
Like, I mean, Ohtani's gonna. I don't know if it's necessarily a record, but like an Orioles pitcher was the last pitcher to grand slam in the World Series in whatever year that might have been. Ohtani might take care of that too.
Yeah. While pitching a complete game shutout.
and losing his parlay and blaming his interpreter. Oh, that's a different story. Okay, sorry.
I love how he has to act like he doesn't speak English when he's being interviewed.
That's
on the
not
field.
To be
uncommon.
fair, that happens a lot. Where one, like Ichiro did that for years. He used an interpreter even though he spoke mostly fluent
Fair
English.
to make sure that like you don't accidentally
You don't
flub
get
something.
misconstrued or,
That's
you know.
that's fair and all, but he's like I've heard him speak fluent English.
Or option 2 is, and Evan and I should mention this because we're Orioles fans. When Anthony Santander first came to the Orioles, he didn't speak particularly good English, but his English improved to the point where he was confident enough to speak to the media by himself. But he just wanted to have his interpreter there because that was his homie. He just wanted to hang out with his buddy. Yeah, and so that's kind of. So I don't really. I'm not going to say, oh, Shohei just needed the interpreter to have somebody to throw under the bus, right? Like, you can find anybody. You can find the janitor to do that if you really needed to, right? So they're just hanging out, before the game.
I don't actually believe in that conspiracy. I just think it's funny, and
I found the whole thing bizarre, and I'm willing to just look past it because we get to watch Shohei hit 3 bombs and strike out 10 batters
Dude is
in
incredible.
an NLCS game to go to the World Series. So, fantastic stuff.
Who
from
was
them.
hosting Game 1?
Dodgers are.
Oh,
It's
okay.
in LA, yeah. So anyway, let's talk about the other team in the World Series, the Toronto Blue Jays, who finished off a 2-0 and then 3-2 comeback.
actually no. Game 1 is in Toronto.
Is it really?
Yeah,
I could have swore.
I thought
Wow.
so too.
I thought it was in LA.
Well, hopefully,
Never mind
our
then.
current orange president doesn't say anything ignorant about Canada and cause a big brouhaha.
I'm pretty sure.
I
the
just hope
game's
that
going to be
they-
played anyway, but
I just hope that they play Drake music in Toronto and Kendrick music in LA.
I feel like the people from Toronto would just rather have Kendrick music at this point.
I think so too, but
It's a tough sell.
I do find it kind of funny. We got some more of that beef going.
I guess.
Kind of.
I think the beef was pretty one-sided, and
Yeah,
I
it was
admittedly,
completely one-sided.
I also think this World Series will be one-sided in the same direction. So,
Yeah, I think the Dodgers are inevitable.
yeah. We saw it against the Brewers where they just when
The
you can
Brewers had a great year.
yeah, the Brewers were a great team, and they just hey, we got 4 aces that we could throw out. We spent like $2 billion combined on all these guys, and here you go, good luck, and that's pretty much how it went.
And Brewers, you spent $10, so great.
It does kind of frustrate me that of the last, 5 now World Series that the Dodgers have been in, I've had to root for the Dodgers in all but one of them.
You've had to.
So
Because they've played almost the entire
making
AL
you?
East now. Like, they played the Yankees last year.
Yeah.
They're playing the Blue Jays this year. They played the Rays in 2020.
Yes.
They played the Red Sox in 2018. And in 2017, they played the Astros,
yeah, and
who I hate.
and who you hate because they just beat you and you found out they were cheating. So that's
So I keep having to root for the Dodgers, even though I do not want to root for the Dodgers.
well, you didn't root for them last year.
Right.
It didn't
And
really
that
work
didn't
out. Well, good luck with that, because unfortunately, I'm probably also pulling for LA because I don't like the Blue Jays. But I do like Vladdy Jr., and I do love all the pictures of him being, little kid with his Expos baggy jersey on with his dad and stuff. Though those are fun, but I'm not a Blue Jays guy. Not really a Dodgers guy. They're kind of over them just because of the constant. We just get every good player every year, and it's like, all right, fine, guys. Like, we get it. You guys are awesome, and you got a bunch of money, and you're willing to spend it, and I respect that. But man, it does get a little exhausting where it's like, who's the best pitcher available? Oh, he's going to be a Dodger. So anyway, let's talk a little bit about the Blue Jays because they did have a really impressive series. George Springer with the massive home run in Game 7. We've seen him be a postseason hero frequently in his career with the Houston Astros.
Didn't you win World Series MVP?
He did. Yeah, he was just killing Yu Darvish in Game 7, which is, I think he led that game off with a home run.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, so he's been fantastic. Vladdy's obviously been great. I think Vladdy was NLC or ALCS MVP, so good for him. But I just this team made a great run. The Mariners obviously had a really good run to get there. It looked like they were going to go to the World Series for the first time. They were up 2-0. They won the first 2 games in Toronto. They got up quick game 3. I think Cal Raleigh hit a 2-run homer, and the place is going bonkers. And then the Blue Jays scored like 2 touchdowns immediately after that. So
Taco Bell offense right there.
yeah, and then the Mariners had a huge win in Game 5, their last shot at a home game, where they hit a grand slam late in that one. And it was like, okay, well, here go the Mariners. And then the Blue Jays just kept fighting back. So, incredible series for them. They definitely deserve a shot at this thing. And, and part of me wants, there's a small part of me that says, hey, if they win, that would be a really cool run. Just, the fact that they were able to do what they did against the Mariners, and if they were able to take down Goliath here, not the roller coaster because that thing sucks, but the one in LA at least. But yeah, this is going to be, it could be an interesting series, but the Blue Jays bats have to get going, and they can't let this Dodgers rotation keep them down. They at least got to get into the bullpen.
Yeah, I mean, this has Dodgers in 5 written all over it. Like, I feel like it's kind of rude to say, oh, they're gonna sweep, but
They might. They just swept the Brewers. We didn't see that coming. So. All right. Well, that's it from me. Do you guys have anything to add about this World Series here?
I'll save my thoughts for the write-up that we'll put out later this week.
Why are they waiting till Friday to start? What are we doing?
That's a Rob Manfred question. You ever get a chance to talk to that goofball? Let me know.
Boy.
All right. Well, shout-outs then. Corey, you got anything?
I'll give a shout-out to Dan Lively. He's the athletic director over at the Heights for picking up the slack on coordinating everything for this year's WCAC Cross Country Championship, which...
Is it going to be at his house?
It's going to be in the neighborhood.
Just in the circle right here?
So we'll be back at Kenilworth Park this year, this Saturday, in fact, for championships. We did not know where we were going to be until like yesterday morning.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So.
All right.
But yeah, shout out to him for getting everything coordinated, and hopefully we have a strong showing at championships this Saturday.
All right, Evan, you got anything?
I think I have a bunch of stuff. Shout out to the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, ranked number 7 in the AP poll.
Pretty impressive.
7. That is insane. Because we started the year unranked.
Well, I'm not going to...
And, our program's been through a rough patch.
Well, I'm going to hold my thoughts on your team because I don't want to jinx them. But there is a potential down the road conversation about your Yellow Jackets. But It's pretty. It should be. It's
I mean-
in a good way. I mean, in a good way.
Oh, okay. Well,
Which is why I'm not trying to say it too early, so I don't, hose you guys out of potentially the best season you possibly could have this year.
Yeah, I mean, we just got to focus one game at a time. We got Syracuse this week. It's homecoming.
Gotta win, man.
Yeah, just got to win, right? Looking at you, Miami, right? They lost a game, and now they might not, like, even if they win the rest of their conference games, they might not make the ACC championship because there's 17 teams in the ACC, and, when you don't win your game, somebody else did.
Yes, indeed.
When was the last time that the Yellow Jackets were ranked in the top 7 in the AP poll?
I don't know about the AP poll, but I looked up in the BCS. We were ranked in the top 7 in going into the last week of the regular season in 2009.
Yep. And when was the last time that you were ranked higher than that?
That would have to go back to 1990 when we won
You
the
guys
national
got up to
championship.
number
yeah.
2. Yeah, you finished out at number 2.
And then they won the national championship. So.
Yep.
The Terps lost their 3rd game in a row, by the way. They lost to UCLA on the road. So
Yeah, I actually caught the tail end of that
UCLA
game.
on the road. This must be a madhouse playing out there. Penn State went out there, lost. Maryland goes out
Maryland.
there, lost.
Yeah. Well, guess what? Neither team is ranked, and one team is without a coach. The other might not be too far behind because this is ridiculous. But
They must have had 90,000 people in the Rose Bowl. The place was rocking, wasn't it?
I'm sure it wasn't. Like, Maryland had a pick 6, and I was going nuts at the bar, and I was like, "Let's go!" And then we still blew it. Third straight week that the Terps had a lead going into the fourth quarter, or at least had a fourth quarter lead, and didn't win. So ridiculous.
I got some more.
Go ahead.
But wait, there's more. I had a great weekend this weekend out in rural Indiana.
Santa Claus.
Yes.
Nice.
So shout out, of course, all the people who work at Holiday World are amazing, and their customer service is second to none. But also shout out Joey from Buzz Bars for setting up the Verbo. Yes.
3-time award-winning ass.
Yes, him.
Yes.
Setting up the Verbo and coordinating all of that. Shout out to Matt for picking me up from the airport and driving me around. Just had an overall great time. And Eric, you missed it.
I had a great weekend. I had a really good weekend.
So did I.
Yeah, so I'm glad we both had good weekends. Mm-hmm. All right, well, is that it?
I think so. I'm sure
Okay.
something else will come to me.
Okay,
But
well,
that's what I got.
my shout-out's a little bit more of a somber one, and it's related to your Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. I have a shout-out to Demaryius Thomas, who was inducted into the Ring of Honor in Denver this weekend. Thomas was a great receiver. Obviously, he went to Georgia Tech. All-pro receiver for the Broncos in the Peyton Manning era. Tragically passed away a few years, I think 4 years ago at this point,
I think that's right.
where he had a seizure. But he was posthumously inducted into the Ring of Honor. One of the great guys in the league. Obviously, a great player. Glad to see him get that honor though, because he definitely deserved it. So shout out to him.
And some of the the numbers and everything, the coincidences, serendipitousness of them, like he was 33 when he died. They scored 33 points in the fourth quarter to win that game. Like there were some other 33s mixed in there, and
Well, that's
yeah.
mind blowing. Well, imagine that. All right. Well, obviously, shout out to him and his family. I hope everybody's doing well, and he certainly deserved that honor. So we're glad that he got it.
Yep.
But that does it for this week's episode of the Sports Ballers. Thank you guys for tuning in. You can reach us at thesportsballers@gmail.com if you want to give us feedback or have show topic ideas. We're happy to hear from you. You can also check out thesportsballers.com where Weekly Whiz is going to be coming. Weekly.
Whiz.
So that should be fun. And obviously our fantasy football and other picks and things like that are happening there as well. You can also get this podcast on Apple and Google. You can live stream it on YouTube as well and on Spotify. And if you have a podcast that we're not on, let us know. We will do our best to accommodate you. And lastly, you can follow us on Twitter. We are at SportsBallers18. You can follow us individually because we are characters on Twitter as well. Corey is at Corey Puffett. I am at Quagmire67. And Evan is at Evan_Ash13.
almost got it.
You
were rolling.
I was rolling. I got a little too quick for myself, though, there. But anyway, thank you guys again for tuning in. We'll be back next week to discuss the early part of the World Series. We will, again, reminder, be posting our predictions and thoughts about that on our page, so keep an eye out for that. And we'll be discussing football as well. Probably not too much NBA basketball because, let's face it, it's late October, Read
Only
Weekly
the
Wiz.
crazy people
Just
are
read Weekly
into it
Wiz.
now.
You'll get the gist of it at that point. But until then, take it easy.